Once I could play what I heard inside me, that's when I was born. This is a quote I love by Charlie Parker, and it has a very deep meaning for musicians. Music, like food or sports, is a universal language. It has the ability to communicate thoughts, express emotions, but ultimately it delivers stories to anyone in the world, regardless of the language they speak, their ethnicity, or cultural background. That's why today I would like to talk about music as a communication tool and how, if you apply the advices I'm about to give you, you can use it in your advantage. This will transform the way you approach music, but especially the way you play it in front of others. Music, as I said before, is a language in itself, and when you are playing it, you are actually speaking it. Let me say this one more time. Music is a language. So when you are playing it, you are speaking the musical language. This is a very important concept for you to understand, so let me elaborate on it a little bit, because many people tend to forget why they are playing an instrument in the first place. They might start practicing without direction or without specific targets. Maybe they get lost in emotions and forget why they started playing music in the first place. Think about it. Why do you play music? How did you get started? There might be a few answers for this question. Maybe your parents took you to music lessons when you were a kid, like mine did. Maybe you heard someone playing that you wanted to imitate, so you started taking lessons. Or maybe you just thought it would be fun to do it, which it is. Whatever it is that got you started, I'm glad you did, because it is actually a lot of fun. And if you still haven't, what are you waiting for? Get started, learn an instrument. Ultimately, what you are doing while you are practicing is you are getting ready in a way to start a musical conversation with someone. You are getting ready to express your feelings and your thoughts through your instrument. You want to communicate your emotions through your instrument to other people. You want to speak through music with others. The problem is, many people struggle, for a variety of different reasons, to deliver a musical message. Maybe when they play, other people are not really understanding the message. Maybe the story being told through music is a little blurry, or it's performed in a way people cannot relate to. They might want to express something specific with their instrument, but, for example, their technique doesn't allow them to do so. They probably are not even aware of the specifics of the problems they are facing, and just cannot figure out why they cannot connect with people during their performances. Now, let me be honest here. If an audience cannot understand your musical message, you are doing something wrong. If the audience don't have the reaction you are expecting from them, you are probably making some mistakes in the communication process. Maybe the delivery is not clear enough for them to understand your story. Let me explain this through an example that everybody will understand. Let's go to a dream scenario. Imagine that I want to learn a new language. Imagine that I want to start learning Chinese. And imagine that you already do speak fluent Chinese. What would be the first thing I have to do if I wanted to speak with you? If I wanted to give you a message? Think about it logically. What would be the first thing I will have to do if I want to tell you a story you can understand in your own language? Should I start reading a newspaper? Should I start reading the dictionary? Or maybe start practicing my writing and then trying to speak what I'm writing? That wouldn't make much sense, right? Because I still don't know anything about the language. This is what I should do instead. I will try to find recordings of someone who is already good at Chinese, preferably a native speaker. Then I will try to select small sections of those recordings with words or short phrases I want to learn. I will listen to them for a few times and then I will try to imitate. Listen, imitate, repeat. And little by little, I will try to understand the nuances of the language, understand where the accents go, learn the intonation of the words. And if I did that, little by little, slowly but surely, I will be able to express my thoughts. I will be able to put a few sentences together so you will understand what I'm saying. I will be able to put a few sentences together that people will actually understand. When you study music, you are learning a language, so study it as a language. Listen to things you want to play according to your level. If you are a beginner, listen to some easy melodies you can imitate, or try to copy small parts of improvisations. Listen, imitate, repeat. Music has words that we call notes, it has its own grammar structure that we call harmony, and it has, of course, its own dialects that we call musical genders, like languages do. And when you play it, be clear and concise in your delivery. Clarity in music, while expressing your thoughts, is extremely important. Being able to deliver a message in a clear and concise way is key for the communication between the performer and the listener to be successful. Now, being able to express your feelings and thoughts through an instrument is very difficult. It requires you to study some technique of the instrument so you are able to perform. Also, certain knowledge of harmony so you understand the grammar of the music, and many other things. But if you only focus on playing songs and forget about practicing other aspects, it's going to be difficult for people to understand the songs you are playing. It's going to be difficult for people to understand what you are saying with your music. Is it impossible to do it without technique? Sure, there are some examples of that. But generally speaking, it's going to be way easier for you to do so if you follow this advice. You will quickly notice how listeners can connect with you more deeply, improving their overall musical experience. Now I would like to talk a little bit about overplaying, because this is also one of the reasons listeners can get confused while listening to music. When we play music for others, we tend to want to show off. It's a very natural and human feeling. You want to show off to others how much you have been practicing. You are looking for approval and for respect. The problem with this is that, again, your message might get blurry in the delivery. Think like this. Overplaying is the same as overtalking. If you want to tell a story to a friend and you speak non-stop for 30 minutes, your friend is probably going to walk away from you. This is because you are giving him or her too much information without a break. Same with music. Now listen to what Master Bill Evans has to say about this.
So they hear them play it, something like this, for instance, maybe. Well, they get an approximation of that, and rather than be satisfied with saying, I'll work simply with the framework and honestly and really, and say, play something simple like... try to approximate the other thing, but in a vague way, something like maybe... They're trying to do the thing in a way which is so general that they can't possibly build on that. If they build on that, they're building on top of confusion and vagueness, and they can't possibly progress.
Yeah. This is my worst fault, is overplaying. We have to overplay, I think, because we don't have time to even to sustain the rudimentary thing.
The point is, it's better to do something simple, which is real. It can still be satisfactory.
What he's saying basically is that if you are clear and concise with the message you are delivering, people is going to understand it better and it's going to be much easier for you to connect with them. Mastering musical clarity is of course difficult to achieve, but it's a skill like any other, so we can work on it. So remember, music is a language. Study it as such. Listen, imitate, repeat. Don't forget to practice technique so you can be clear in your musical speech. Be concise when you play for others. And don't overplay. That will make the message much easier to understand for others. If you have any questions about this or any other topics, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to help. And if you would like to support the channel, please check out my online shop. In there you can find plenty of material I create for the modern jazz player. The link is in the description down below. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.